welcome to TechSharmit. In this session, we will discuss a process through which we can perform alignment on the display file fields. Okay, so let me show you the example first, and then we will see how we can design the screen for that and how we can write the logic for it. Okay, so let me call this program. So you can see that this is the string alignment screen, and what we have designed so far, whenever user press any of these three buttons, uh, it will store the data accordingly. So let's say if I click on this left, so what it will do, it will load the data left aligned or left justify. Similarly, if I press on center, it will load the data center justified, and if I click on this right button, then it will load the data right justified. So this is how it will function. Okay, and for the initial time, whenever we are calling this program, it will came as a blank because we are not going to populate any data, but as soon as the user press any of these three buttons, then it will load the data accordingly according to the alignment type. If I am selecting left, so it will load the data from left. If I select center, then it will go for center, and if I click on right, then it will go for the right. Okay, so this is all about the screen program. So let me show you the designing, and then we will see the logic. So for designing, firstly you need to create empty display file, and once it is added, you can press F6 and add it from here. Just put your name here like test, and here type you can use as DSPF, and then hit enter. So it will open a blank display file for you. Then just make it save and exit file. Once it is added, then you can take option 17. Okay, for designing the screen. So I have already created, so I will use that one only. So this is the my display file align box D. So I'm taking option 17 here, and after taking option 17, you can add a new record for your screen. So just put one here, one. Then for adding the record, you can write any name of the record, and in type you can select it as a record and just hit enter. So it will open a blank display file screen for you. For now, I'm just deleting it because we are not going to use this one. We have already created. So let me show you that one. So I'm taking option 12 here to work with this screen. Now you can see that it contains this much of data, and among this, like these things we will discuss here, and these three buttons we have added by writing the code directly to the source of the display file. Okay, that I will show you once we discuss this one. So let's start with the header portion. So in here header, you can see that this is a normal verbiage, so you can directly put anything here inside a single quote, then it will be considered as a string. And to change the color, put asterisk. From here you can select any of the color which you want to select. Let's say we want to select white, so we'll put one over there and hit enter. So it will be created like this. If you if you want to move this string from one position to another, then you can proceed with this angular bracket. So wherever you want to shift, it will shift it for you. Okay, and similarly if you want to move it, so just use hyphen, and then wherever you want to move it, just press equal and enter. So it will be moved. Okay, and now I'm deleting it because we are not going to use this one. And just make sure one thing, that do not press backspace in any condition on this screen, otherwise it will disturb entire screen designing. Okay, so whenever you are designing a screen, do not press backspace or delete button. Fine. So this thing we are retrieving with the help of function start date. So just simply write start date. Okay, so it will fetch the current date, as well as you can use start time for time. So it will fetch out the current time, system time. And this is also a normal text. This is also a normal text, just I change the color to white. And this is also a text, but you can see there is one column separator. So whenever you assign any color, yellow color, to any text, let's say if I go asterisk, select for colors, then you can see that color yellow automatically comes with the column separator. So if I select one, so it will come with that these dotted line. Okay, so that's why it is looking different. So this is all about the header portion. Now we will see what are we are doing here. So this is just a simple output field. So how to create output field? Just write plus O, then write O, and inside that you can, inside the parenthesis you can pass the length which you want to create for your field, and just simply hit enter. So it will create it like this. Okay, right now I have created only 10 digit field. Similarly you can create for 20, just change the size to 20. So whenever we are creating any output field or any field, we are supposed to pass any name to it. So just to assign name, what you can do, you can place your cursor on the placeholder, write question mark and hit enter. So you can see that field is assigned with this name, FLD1. Similarly, if I check for the second field, then this is FLD2. Similarly for third one, it is FLD3, and likewise we have assigned name to all these 12 fields. So if I check for this one, then it is FLD12. Now field is decided. Now you can also change the color, like I have assigned different color to these fields so that it looks good to the user. So for that reason we have changed the color. So yeah, we are done with this part of the designing. Now these three things we will add directly to the source. So let's see how. Let me take F12, and here you can take option 8 for assigning few indicators. So just click on Y, and these are the indicators that we are going to use: CF03, CF20, 21, 22. Where 03 is for exit, 20 is left, 21 is center, 22 is right. So these indicators we will use. Let me show you the source. So after designing this much part of the screen, you can compile the source, and now take option 2 for writing something directly to the file. So these are the line from line number 1.00 to line number, let me select this. So this portion is for those three buttons that we have added. Okay, so those are the push button. So how to declare it? Just write A, and after indicator position you can write A, then press F4, and here you can pass the field name. So my first button field name is F1, length is 2, data type is Y. So if you want to check what is Y, then press F1 here, and you can see that Y is for shifted key. Type Y to indicate a keyboard shift of numeric value. The data type of the field is zone decimal. Okay, now decimal position is 0. B, use for B. If you want to check, just press F1 here. So it will give you that type B, indicate that field used for both an input and output. And these are the line and position. So you can keep line and position here. Okay, and then simply hit enter. What is this line and position? I will tell you. Now second thing, you can see that we are assigning some position cursor. So this thing you can also add directly by taking option 17 once your field is added, or you can directly write it like this. In functions you can go DSP ATR PC and assign some indicator to it. Okay, now you can see the third thing that we are doing here is PSHBTN CSC, which means push button choice. Inside parenthesis, so here in parenthesis you can see that we are giving the choice as 1, and the text we are displaying on the button is left. So we just keep it inside the quote, and this is the function key which will get turned on whenever the user press this button, which is CF20. So this indicator we have already set in by taking option 8, and then we assign these three indicators, right? Now I'm hitting enter. So it will take me to the next field. Next field is F2, same data type, decimal position, use both line and position. So what is actually this line and position? So if you want to decide the position of your button, let's say if I go to this position, which means 18 and 13. So here at the bottom you can see that 2146. So let me change it to 18 and 36. So this is 18th, and if I go before this, then this is 36. So exactly here the button will be appeared. Likewise the second button will become under the next position, which is I guess 48. Yes, 1848. So second button will be there, and similarly if I hit enter, then third will be at 34. Okay, so actually this is how we are deciding this position, and this is something different. Let me take F12. So first button will become under 1825, second will be at 1836, and third will be at 1848. So this is how we decide the position. And what will happen whenever user press this function key, means this button, then this indicator will get turned on and we will design the logic accordingly. And this position cursor, we can either write it directly here like this with each field, or we can take option 17. So let me show you the 17 option first. So firstly, you just need to include these two lines. First one is this, and second one is this choice one, right? So likewise you will add it for the other values, and this position cursor thing will come under the option 17. Let me show you. So I'm compiling it, taking option 17, taking option 12. So here, once these three buttons will appear there, you can press asterisk, and from here you can go for display attribute, and you can select the option Y on PC, which is position cursor, and assign the indicator as 80. So what it will do, it will consider this indicator as a position cursor. So whenever we turn on this position cursor, it will take the cursor to this particular position. So this is all about the screen designing. Let me compile it and show you the logic then. Now we will see the logic. So for logic, I am taking option 2 on this program. So as usual, we are writing the code in fully free format. So we just mention star free here. Then we are using some control options like star nodebg.io and star src.stmt. So these control options we are using just for the purpose of debugging. So whenever we are taking this program in debug, it will not go again and again to show for the input output operation, and src.stmt will provide the exact source line in a spool file. After that, we are going to declare the file. So just write dclf, and my display file name is align box d, and this is the keyword for display file, which is workstn. After that, we are assigning declaring some variables here like padding, which is of integer type of length 10, and then len is for length, for storing the length, which is type of zone 10. Now see the main logic. So in main logic, what we are doing initially, we are executing the routine exsr $clear indicator. So let's see what we are doing in this indicator, in this routine. So let me take you to that routine first. So here what we are doing, we are just clearing all the indicator that we are going to use inside this program. So for the very first time, it should be cleared. So we are just clearing all indicator. Clear star IN 80, 81, 82, 83, right? So likewise, we are clearing all the indicators. Once indicator is cleared, now we are going to run the do while loop till the IN03 is off. And inside that, we are just executing the load data subroutine. So let's see what we are doing here in load data subroutine. So actual logic is written here inside this routine. So we are just checking for the condition. So using the select when. So first condition is when star IN20 is on. So whenever the indicator 20 is on, it means user has pressed the left button. So if user has pressed the left button, then just simply turn on the position cursor, because now the cursor should be pointed at that particular button. So we are just turning on the 80 indicator, and then we are simply assigning the values to the field. So these are my screen fields, FLD1 to FLD12, and I'm just assigning the normal text to it using the quotes. So just keep the data as it is. This is all about left indicator, or you can say left button. So whenever user press left button, it will assign the data directly, because there is no need for left assignment, because it is by default. Now before discussing about the center, let me take you to the right aligns, because after that we will discuss about the center. So let me take you directly to that. So here we are checking the condition 22. 22 is for right. So 21 is for left. 20. This is the center one is for 21, and 20 is for left, 21 is for center, and 22 is for right. So in 22, what we are doing, we are again clearing the indicator whenever it comes under this condition. We are resetting all the indicators again so that all previous set indicator will get cleared. And then we are assigning the values, but this time we are using eval r opcode. So what it will do, it will assign the values from right hand side. So that's why we are using eval r. So likewise, we are assigning all these value, but with eval r, and we are turning on the indicator 82. So what it will do, it will set the position to right button. Okay, position cursor to right button. So this is about the right button or right alignment. Now we will see the center alignment or center button. So for that we are using condition star I and 21, and as usual, firstly we are clearing the indicator, all the indicators. So using the $clear indicator, and then we are assigning the value. So first field is FLD1. So firstly we are just simply assigning the value, which is Samsung, and then we are calculating padding. So what is this padding? Actually, padding is the number of spaces required to add at the initial of the string, so that it looks like we are assigning the data. We have justified the data to center. So here we are calculating that number of spaces needed to pad. So what we are calculating here, like you can see that here we are subtracting the length by length divided by 2 from 10. Why? Because the total output field is of 20 length. Okay, so just take the half value of it. If your field is of 20 length, then make it as 10, and then from 10 subtract the actual length of the data. Let's say if we are assigning this text to the field, then calculate its trimmed length and then divide it by 2 and then subtract it from 10, means half of the field length. So what it will provide, it will provide the spaces, number of spaces that needs to be added before the at the initial of the string. Then what we are doing in FLD1, we are using percentage substring built-in function to fetch the spaces from these are the 20 spaces, right? So from these 20 spaces, what we are doing, we are fetching it from first positions to the length of padding. So whatever the padding we have calculated, it will fetch those values. So it will fetch these spaces and add it to the FLD1. Then we are adding the actual trimmed string. So whatever the actual data is, we are just assigning it to it. Okay, so by doing this, we will be able to assign the value at the center. Likewise, we are doing it for other values. So you can see that here also we are subtracting it from 10, and then we are adding it to the logic. Okay, so likewise we are doing for other 3 values, other all 12 values, and we are also turning on the indicator 81, which is for position cursor. Okay, so let's see how it works in debug mode. Before that, I will show you the actual outcome. So this is the outcome. If I press left, so it will came like this. If I press center, it will came like this, and if I press right, it will came like this. So let's take this program in edit mode and see how the padding calculation is performed. So I'm compiling the source with object with source. It's compiled now. I'm taking the program in edit mode, means in debug mode. My library name is Sharmit1, and I'm passing these 2 parameters as yes. So it will take some time, and then it will came inside the debug mode, and there we will set the breakpoint, and after setting the breakpoint we will directly call the program, and then we will check the logic by pressing F10. So it will take some time. For setting the breakpoint, we use br command. So br, and whatever the line where you want to set the breakpoint, you can pass that value. If I'm using br1, then it means it will set the breakpoint at first line. So I'm passing it as br1 and then hit enter. Now press F10 and call the program. So I'm calling it. Now from here we will directly move to the padding portion, means the center align portion. So this is it. Now I will select this line by pressing F6. So my breakpoint is set to this location. Now I'm pressing F12. So whenever user press center button, So what it will do, it will came inside this logic and assign the value. So first this value is assigned, which is FLD1. So it will be like this, Samsung and all the pieces. Now we are calculating the padding. So let's see what padding we got. We got it as a 6. How? Because the actual length, this is the length 2, 4, 6 and 7. Okay, so here from this function what we will get as 7 divided by 2, then it round figure it, so it will come approximately as 4, and then we are subtracting it from 10. Why 10? Because the total field length is 20, so we take the mid value, which is 10, so then we are subtracting it from it, so it will become, so you can see it become 6. So we are basically we are subtracting at 4 from 10, so it becomes 6. Then in FLD1 what we are doing, we are assigning the values to the initial, means the 6 spaces to the initial, and then we are adding the actual length. Okay, so likewise we are doing for other values. So if I do page down, so if I check value here, then it will be 8, because here the actual length is changed. Okay, so this is how the center logic works. So I'm doing F12 and doing the end debug. So this is how we can perform the center align, left align and right align in display file field. So let me recap all the things that we have discussed. Firstly, you need to take option 17, design your upper part of the string of the screen. Let me show you again. So this much portion we will design by taking option 17. Once it is designed, then we can simply save our display file and compile it, and after compiling we can pass it inside, we can take this display file in source mode, means in edit mode, and there we can define these buttons, which is push buttons. So these position we can calculate using by placing the cursor wherever you want to put your button. Just check the location at bottom, like 1639. If I want to show my button here, so I will pass it as a 1639, and rest all are the required parameters. Then likewise we have decided the other 3 buttons. Once your button is defined, then whenever the user press the button, it will turn on the respective variable, like respective indicators like CF20, CF21 and 22. After adding this thing, you can directly compile your display file again, and then you can write a logic. So in logic what we are doing, we are just declaring the display file, and after declaring we are declaring 2 variables. These variables we are going to use for the logic, and then we are resetting all the indicator for the first time, and then we are loading the data. So we have made this logic like this. If user didn't press any button, then it will not load the data, but if user has selected any of the button, then only it will load the data. So as per your requirement, you can change this logic also. Okay, if you want to show any initial data by default data, then you can keep it, but for now we are just keeping initial screen as blank, and whenever user press any button, it will load the data. So for deciding the alignment, we are checking the condition using select when, and when 20 indicator is on, means the user has pressed the left button, so we are assigning the value directly. If user has pressed center button, it means 21 is on, and in that case we are calculating the padding by calculating the padding, where we are subtracting the actual length divided by 2 from the half value of the field, which is 10. And once the padding is added, means the calculated, then we are assigning the initial number of spaces to it, along with the actual data. Okay, and in case of right alignment, we are just directly using the eval-r opcode. So by using eval-r, we can directly place our content. Okay, so this is how we can perform this kind of alignment. So wherever it is required to perform such kind of alignment or justification, you can use this logic. You can also improve the logic by changing few of the scenario as per your requirement, but for a very initial level, you can use this logic to perform these kind of alignments. So I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching TechShare Math.